Hello. Cigars today. I fancied a cigar. And I fancied a proper cigar. Like I've not been smoking larger cigars at the moment. I've not had the time. I've not really been, in a good place. Like actually, like a place, a legitimate place, to smoke a cigar. Like it's too cold to smoke outside properly. I woke up today and I thought, I'm gonna have a cigar today. I've got a few Cubans. Um, I've got a few New Worlds, but then I remembered I got some cigars for Christmas that I've yet to try. Um, and I thought, why don't I have one of these? Now, I originally was like, they're too big. I'm not gonna have the time. I'm like, I've got all day. I'm not working today. I've got all day. So, this is the cigar I'm going to be smoking. It's huge. It is definitely, it's over 7 inches. I'd say 7.5 inches, maybe. It's a big cigar, and it's more than 47. It's Churchill-esque in size. It's Churchill-esque in size. A big cigar like this. Big cigar like this. Churchill-esque, but I think it's longer than 7 inches. Probably closer to 8, and it's about a 50 ring gauge. It's a very large cigar. Now, I don't know a lot about this company, Aromas de San Andreas. It was apparently handmade in Andres Tuxtila by Jorge Ortiz Alvarez. All I know is this is a Mexican cigar. Completely Mexican. And I know Aromas de San Andreas do make cigars still, but they do not make this. From what I know, this cigar is about 9 years old, probably. It's a very old cigar, and you can kind of tell how old it is by, if I move the band, I can't know if you can see that, the discoloration here behind the bands would have been there. The moment you move the band, you can see massive discoloration. This is an old cigar. Even the wrapper it comes in, if you have a look at it, you can see, I don't know if you can actually, can you see it's like slightly yellow as opposed to being clear. This cigar is old. It's got a lot of age on it. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing depends entirely on the cigar. Now, the wrapper is quite light. It's quite a light wrapper. I'd probably say it's not Connecticut. I'd probably say it's some sort of Habano wrapper, from the looks of it. But I don't know. It's not a San Andreas wrapper, which are very dark wrappers. Not despite the name. It's a big cigar. It's a big cigar, and it's one that's probably gonna last me over an hour and a half, easy. I've got a coffee with me. I've got a can of Diet Coke. I'm prepared to have a nice big cigar. Aroma wise, it's quite nice. You really can't get a lot off the smell of a cigar, but it's relatively light. Cedary notes. It came in like a cedar tray, wrapped in kind of like a cling film, and then wrapped in the tubes. It had a tiny bit of mould on the top here, but not nothing major, like enough that it can just be brushed off. There's nothing on the foot. So these cigars have been, well kept. Now, they are crinkling, but I don't think, hoping anyway, that they are, they're too dry. They've been in my humidor for about 2 weeks now, as I got back Christmas, so about 2-3 weeks, which I think is enough for a cigar. Just go get me cutter. I'll have it over here, I think. Yeah, it's right there. Just had to get my cigar cutter. Look at the absolute size of that cigar. Got my ashtray. Fucking, like, this cigar will not sit in my ashtray at the moment. It's too big. It like look, look. It's way too big. Like it will sit like that, which I guess will be fine until it's big enough just to hold itself in the middle. But you know, let's cut the cap. A relatively clean cut, no relatively clean cut. The cap on this is a pretty big cap. It's like a big double cap. It's a bit rustic looking at the top, but should be okay. Let's give it a draw. Pretty much a perfect draw. Cedar notes, woody notes, some lighter floral notes. Stuff I expect from a cigar of this wrapper and off this smell. Now, if these cigars are actually any good, I'm very happy with them as a present because, like, obviously I'm grateful for any gift, but, like, if I got cigars and they were shit, they would be given out. I would get them and I would give them to people who don't normally smoke cigars as a gift. If these are good, then I'm very happy because I've got 5 of them. It's 5 very big cigars. A cigar of this size in the UK is going to probably cost you upwards of £25–30 a lot of the time. So, there we are. Right. Let us toast the foot and then light up. The like I said, I think this is around one. It's between a 47 and like a 50 ring gauge. Honestly, now that I've held it in my mouth, it feels a bit thinner than I thought, but like the packaging it didn't say anything on the packaging about the size or anything like that. These are old cigars, and I expect any bad flavours that are in these cigars will have mellowed out because of age. Right, let's give it a draw. Have a little sip of coffee. Give it a purge. Then we'll take a draw in a minute. On just that initial light, very heavy, light wood, bright, slightly earthy and herbal flavours, very Connecticut based flavours that would get in a lighter cigar, which generally not the flavours I'm a massive fan of, but we will see. Let's take a proper first draw. That's nice. Definitely a very bright top cedar note that we get. Like, now it makes sense. Now I don't know if this cigar had a very strong cedar note. Honestly, it would make sense that this thing living in cedar for 9 years might have influenced it on the wrapper, which would make sense. A pepper. There is a pepper, like a white pepper, a lighter pepper note. kind of like an earthy note. No citrus, no zest, no cream. It's very much cedar, lighter, kind of some more floral, almost herbaceous notes. Nothing too specific, more generic flavours. But it's very well balanced. It's very, very well balanced as far as the cigar goes. Like, I get that cedar note, and it works effortlessly with the kind of light, bright herb notes and the floral notes and kind of that bottom level earth tone that I'm getting from this cigar. It's good. It's lighter flavours, woodier flavours, brighter flavours, not loads of cream, not loads of sweetness. There's kind of a natural tobacco sweetness there that I would probably attribute to the wood and to the floral notes. But besides that, there's not a lot of sweetness in this cigar. I would honestly say it's a bit dry on the mouth. It leaves your mouth a little bit dry. I think as I smoked through it a bit more, this cigar could be immensely complex. Going down, through the thirds of this cigar, it could be immensely complex, or it could just be one note. I'm not going to sit here and smoke the entire cigar on camera. I'm going to sit and relax with this cigar, but I think so far it is very enjoyable. I was a bit hesitant after that lighting puff. I think that might just be because I puffed on it a bit too hard, a bit too quick. I was heating up the tobacco too much. The burn is pretty much perfect. Look at that. And this is a big cigar. This is a cigar I could easily see myself sat outside on a nice, warm spring, warm summer's day at the pub with a nice pint, maybe two. I'd probably get 2 pints, to be honest. Sit outside with this cigar and just relax, because this is an hour and a half, 2-hour cigar for me especially. It's nice. It really is nice. Oh, that's a flavour. Kind of like licorice. It's like a sweet. It's like a sweet. Like licorice. 100% licorice, which is very strange. That might be because maybe we've got a little bit into the cigar. I'm going to have another puff in a sec. Have a drink of coffee. It's Guatemalan women's coffee today, made with the AeroPress and then diluted up. A 1-to-1 ratio, 150 grams of coffee to 150 grams of water, because it's a slightly darker roast, with like a quarter of a sugar cube, Demerara sugar cube, and then just to bite back on the bitterness that you tend to get from darker roast. It's working very well with this cigar. Nice contrasting flavours. I want to find that licorice note again. Earth, wood. There it is. There it is. It's on the back end. It's on the back end. That's amazing. That is really weird. I've never had that before. So you get the wood and the earth, the floral notes, the herbs, very quickly, one after the other at the start. And then as you kind of just relax, let your palate adjust to the smoke after it's gone, the after flavours on the back end is this like sweet, licoricey, I'd almost say almost close to bubblegum as well, note. That is really strange but enjoyable, immensely enjoyable. And it makes this cigar pretty complex, honestly. Like, I don't know how much these were when they were released. I have to guess, if we guess about 8 years ago. 8 years ago, a Churchill would cost you £20, maybe £18. This is from Mexico. It's not Cuban. You're going to get a lower price. I would say you could probably have picked one of these up for about £16 to £20 about 8 years ago. As a prediction, speculating. I don't really know how much these cost. I do have a computer right in front of me. Let me have a look and see if I can find them. Aromas de San Andreas. Is it this one? Is it this cigar? Yep, yep. Might be. It looks similar, but this one's in a tube and has a different thing. 7x52 is what they're saying on here. That's on Cigar Club India. Santa Clara Puros. This must be them. 7x52, light aroma, handmade. India, apparently. Maybe these might have been made for the Indian market. They are selling at 1,200 RS. RS to GDP, rupees GDP. That's £11.80 on there. Not them. It's not them. It seems to be, from what I can see, an Indian cigar. About 12 quid in India. It's a Mexican cigar but sold in the Indian market because the only places I've seen it seem to be on Indian websites. Which is unfortunate because these are, they might not be made anymore. I had a look on the Santa Clara website, the people who own the company. Cannot see them. I can see cigars under the same name but different packaging, so, it's an old cigar. Honestly, that licorice though, it's so weird. It's so weird. I've never experienced normally sweetness comes first in a cigar, maybe a little bit after, like an initial hit of wood or something, but never on the back end. And that burn is just immaculate. How is it burning this well? I mean, these are hand-rolled cigars. Like, I would not be surprised if the ash comes down to here. Like, the construction of these is immaculate. The draw is perfect. The flavour, great. The burn, literally no problems. The ash on that is white. And it's really impressive how cigars, this would have been made 10 years ago probably. The tobacco would have been planted 10 years ago. Somebody, a blender, went out and found tobacco seeds and strains of tobacco that worked best in their soil. They then planted them, cultivated them, picked the tobacco leaves. They then would have dried them off in a barn, cured them, let them ferment and age. in huge bales. If you ever watch it, they have huge bales of tobacco leaves that they rotate every 2 months or something. And then that aged tobacco then gets sent to a factory where rollers, the tobacco will be sent to a factory which will have a master blender who will blend the tobacco together, the Viso, the Viso leaves, the Seco leaves, the Liero, to make a good blend, a blend that tastes good. They will then get that recipe, send it to rollers who will have trained for some of them years to be able to roll cigars perfectly. They will then roll cigars by hand in a factory to the same standard again and again and again and again. Those cigars will then be aged afterwards. Outside of even in Cuba, it's at least 6 months normally, but they will be aged. And once they're aged, they then get boxed and shipped. And then someone bought 5 of these cigars after that probably 1.5 year, 2-3 year long process. Bought them, did not smoke them, gave them to and then after, years, gave them to my granddad. And then my granddad gave them to me. And I am now lighting and smoking these cigars 8 years, 9 years after they've been made. And I'm enjoying it, and I am relaxing, I am de-stressing, I am experiencing flavour that is great, and it's amazing when you think about all the effort that goes into creating a cigar, a handmade product, a natural product, that then allows us to take time out of our day to just relax and de-stress and not have to worry. This cigar, I picked it up specifically because of its length, because it was 7 inches long, because it was going to give me a long smoke time. And it's amazing. It's amazing how this is a completely natural product created from the ground up with hundreds of hands involved to bring me a single cigar that I can sit and relax with. Tobacco is an issue. Nicotine is an issue. And the tobacco industry is bad. Generally in the West, in the East, everywhere across the land, tobacco ruins lives. Right? The tobacco industry for cigarettes, the actual, exploitation in countries like Indonesia that goes on with cigarettes, horrible. The amount of people addicted to cigarettes and the pure amount of death that cigarettes, stuff like chewing tobacco cause, horrible. As someone who doesn't smoke cigarettes, as somebody who exclusively smokes premium cigars, whether it be long filler, hand-rolled premium cigars that have been around for years and years and years, or machine-made premium cigars from trusted companies in Cuba, I'm smoking premium tobacco products. Tobacco products that most of the time my money is going towards family businesses. If you have a look where you buy cigars, some companies are owned by, Altaldis Tobacco, Imperial Tobacco, the Scandinavian Tobacco Group. I know Altaldis, huge tobacco company, owns half of Habermas, and so and the thing Habermas obviously funds the Cuban government. So if you're fine funding the Cuban government, it doesn't really matter, does it? But a lot of these New World cigars, companies like this that are making family owned cigar companies who own the farms, who grow the tobacco, you're funding somebody's livelihood, somebody who is making cigars, and some people who are passionate about their craft, bringing it to you. Because it is a craft, it is an art to from start to finish, from choosing the tobacco that gets planted, to blending and rolling the cigars. It's an art form, it's a craft to create one of these things. They're not mass produced. Some of the smaller cigar brands, some of the bigger cigar brands that you see in shops, stuff like Signature, like Hamlet's, these are mass produced cigars that are made in the same factories as cigarettes most of the time. But a premium cigar is a different thing. It truly is a different thing. It is something that is just so separate to the rest of the tobacco industry. Cigarette manufacturers, they make cigarettes, so people get addicted to the nicotine, so they buy more cigarettes. The premium cigar industry is not making cigars to get people addicted to nicotine. They are not making cigars so that people, buy, little packs of miniatures every day, 10 pack a day. They're making cigars. I'm not going to say all, but most of the premium cigar manufacturers are making cigars because they have a passion for cigars, because they themselves enjoy a premium cigar. They understand the relaxation, they understand the flavour, they understand the stress relief you get from a cigar compared to like a cigarette. They understand that it's not about an addiction to nicotine, it's not about this desire, this need to smoke. They understand it's about delivering a premium product, a luxury product, and a crafting, a handmade product to a consumer that cares about that. And it's something that I think people who don't smoke cigars, people who might smoke cigarettes and don't smoke cigars, I don't think they understand really what cigars are about. I think there was a community, thousands of people, a lot of them in the US because that's where the biggest cigar market is, but many in Europe, thousands in the UK, who understand this premium cigar craft, this business, and it's a community that it informs each other, it teaches each other, and it's one that it's great to be a part of. And I think non-cigar smokers, cigarette smokers, they assume cigars are the same thing as cigarettes. They are the same thing as premium cigars, or the same thing as any other tobacco product, when they truly aren't. And it's hard to put into words how they're not. I've said as much as I can say really on it. They're just different. They're just a different form of consumption. I could smoke 2, 3 of these a day if I wanted to. I could smoke no cigars for 5 days. It's not a want. It's not a need. It's a want. I want to smoke, not that I need to smoke. It's a separate beast entirely. This cigar was great. It's really fucking good, and I'm very glad I have 4 more after this. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna smoke this probably until about 4:30. To be honest, it's huge. I'm not smoking at a particularly quick pace, but hope it's been an informative video. Hope you've enjoyed.